This is lost and gone. I'm tripping on the future that I have in my sights. I slip, but I grip tight to the currents I currently rip right through, ripple through, wither like the weather, like November I fall. Places and palaces like marbles I ball, tears raining down. Like crystals they glisten, like diamonds they decorate the sky. But they spill from my almond-shaped eyes. Boys don't cry, but I'm only human and I hope you realize how I feel inside. Through my arms I reacted to the one I'm attracted not to, but you. You sealed the scarred covered heart that was broken, then bended, then mended, and folded and formed into a flower that I wear on my lapel that stays close to my chest like the weight of your head pressed up with your ear so you could hear that my soul coos for you. Can you tell I try so hard to keep my cool for you? But like the wind in December, I move towards you. Like the warmth of the fire from the spark we connected. In my eyes, you're the one that's reflected. The way you grind, you shine like the carrots in the Garden of Eden that I've been meaning to fuck you in. And if I were an Adam and you were Eve, we'd be made up of similar things. My heart would flutter inside you like a caged bird stays in. You're the reason my insides jump start to races, then keeps me calm, beating at good paces. X marks the spot, and you're where my happy place is. And whenever you're around, there's nothing but smiling faces. And just know, when we're together, that's where my safe space is. Thank you.
Damn, bro. Yo.
Big thanks to our boy Tristan for that amazing poem. A lot of emotions wrapped up into a lot of passion, you know. It's really crazy. I feel like over my short life, I feel like I've learned that love is a really powerful thing, and if it was bottled up and sold on the streets, it'd be a Schedule I drug.
$1 industry.
Yeah, you know it would.
I mean, it already is.
Kind of. Yeah, like the Tinders, the Match, all those things. You know, it's harping on that craving that for love. You know, it's powerful. It make you do some crazy. Yeah,
because there's like a lot of things wrapped up into it. There's like you get addicted to it. There's withdrawal.
Yep.
That
you
withdrawal.
Just like
That's facts.
I don't know. You just kind of go mentally crazy.
Yeah, man.
You know, and it just runs through you.
It's just like, you know, you don't get the physical shakes, but you get the spiritual shakes.
Oh, I get the physical shakes.
I feel like you could definitely get the physical shakes.
I feel something.
I think it plays like, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I think it definitely plays like a drug for sure.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, I know. Shoot, off the top of my head, I don't know. Is it serotonin as a part of it? I'm pretty sure it is, but I know of the chemicals that make up like that feeling of love. If you get too much of it, you can like develop like schizophrenia. Like it'll literally drive you crazy.
Holy shit!
And I mean, shoot, you know that's what love does. That. There was a lot of things I loved about your poem. I really liked your the rhythm aspect because you know it is very clear that you're with your delivery trying to hit certain things and land certain places. When writing poetry, what are you always shooting for that? Are you always
So I guess my process I don't know. I feel like the approach is different every time, especially when it's like a certain topic. But for that poem in particular, I was under the influence, yeah, and it just made me like see things different.
Yeah.
You know, things were wavy, colors everywhere. Frank Ocean was playing in the background. You know, so it was like exactly. It was like kind of like a mix, like a perfect storm almost. You know, and so like I'm lost and gone. Ooh. Yeah. But like no, in all seriousness, like I feel like that poem, the way that it differs from the other ones, that one just like kind of came like really like kind of off the top, like it was a freestyle, where I guess the cadence was already there and like the delivery was also there, where I didn't have to like kind of think of it. But this poem was written in 2019, so that's like 2. Is that 3 years ago?
Yeah, now it is.
God damn. But yeah. But I think
true.
every year I feel like I've gone back to it to just like tweak something here and there. I've read this poem at 3 different places. Each time I think it was different. And then I posted 2 different times. And there's still like the final draft, I think.
Call that putting it in the oven. You know, you gotta let it bake. You know, it's always cooking. You know, you pull it out to check on it. You might add a little seasoning. You know, throw that shit back in there. And, you know, and all of a sudden one day it's like, ooh, this is smelling nice. This is smelling really good.
Damn. So how much does like rap influence like when you write poetry, or if at all? Because it's like that you got a certain flow, like you know.
Like I feel like rap didn't play a huge part into, not necessarily this one. This one, like there's, I guess like, I wouldn't say rap because it was just Frank Ocean inspired. But like the way I started, it was just like mainly like rock, indie, or something like that. Like Jim Morrison was like one of like someone I looked up to. But for this time around, I was listening to Endless, and I think it's called Mitsubishi Sony or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but the way that he like delivered it, and like also like the double entendres and the wordplay kind of was like, okay, like maybe I could try something. And then that's where it was spilled out.
That's pretty cool. I love how this perfect storm that you found yourself in was the vehicle for, you know, getting all of that out. So what was I going to say? Okay, no. So you're in the perfect storm. Now, obviously, I feel like when you find yourself in a perfect storm, whether you know you find yourself in love, you're angry, you're really happy, anything, you know, you have to be feeling it to a point where it's like it's coming from a place of like genuine, a genuine source, you know. So like in your experience, the times you've written about love before, what made this, I mean, would you say feel like more potent to make it a poem?
So, like, I guess mainly when I used to write poems, it was kind of like usually like heartbreak, something that like is very familiar, but I wouldn't tie it to like real situations. It would just be like kind of inspired, abstract. You know, I'd kind of just like grab things from like day to day, but like also like implement it into what I've experienced. But this one was right then and there, and like I said before, like the visuals were crazy, so I I felt like I could just like see things. When I say like places and palaces, like marbles, I ball. Like I felt I saw myself in like different lives and different visions with the said person, and like marbles referred to like obviously the marble balls, but also like textures, things that were like felt like they had movement, but they're still
you were able to take yourself there essentially. So it made it easier to write and describe what you're writing. It's some of my favorite pieces of writing. Not only allow you to feel something, but they take you to wherever the writer is trying to take you. Like I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, but I remember when I was like younger, like elementary school, when we would go to the they would have we're going to the library today. Like you're gonna have to check out a book. And I was like, dude, I don't want to do all that. But then, you would come across books that you actually really like, and then you're reading it, and you're like there. You're reading everything is playing out in your head. You're like, whoa, I can't actually stop reading this. Like, I need to know what happens. And I don't know, that sort of writing where it's like you're able to really place the reader or the listener where you're trying to take them. It's always a trip, and it's super fun. I mean, shoot, it's lucky that they were able to come up with TVs and movies, so all the theater kids didn't have to be just on the stage. Like they can now be on TV on like a crazy scale, as opposed to not to put down like the stage play is incredible even today. Go watch a play if you haven't. Don't like don't. I'm not trying to like do not get me wrong, like please watch a live play if you haven't, because that, especially if above like shout out to high schoolers, but if it's above a high school level, above college level, it's different. But like with TV or just good writing, you're able to really suspend your belief for a little bit and then be in there. So it's like that was one of the things I really liked about your poem, about like how descriptive it was. Like you could really go there.
Yeah, one of my very first books that I read, it was really late because like I was so fucking bad at reading. Am I allowed to cuss? I'm sorry. Okay, so I was so fucking bad at reading, and then my very first book was Shel Silverstein's Giving Tree. Yeah. My very first book I've ever read, my aunt was like helping me read through it, and towards the end, like I started crying. I cried, and I was like 7 years old, and that's when she knew. I was like, this dude's like really emotional. And from there on, I also realized like, damn,
Well,
like,
says like, why are you crying?
So
this is like,
yeah, and I've always felt like so ashamed of it, but now like I gotta embrace it. It's part of it.
It becomes a superpower for sure.
Exactly.
Like, to be completely honest, like as long as you know what you're feeling and know where you're at. Some people don't even know how to do that. Like they're not able to really get in touch and tap in.
Yeah, and then like a lot of people used to bully me and use that against me, and then like once I embraced it, I tattooed it on my wrist, and it's like, well, now you can't fucking use that against me now.
Yeah, hey man, now like they've probably grown up and now they're emotionally constipated. Like they just need a good cry.
I love that you own that shit.
Yeah, man.
Like that's admirable.
Part of my identity. Like
as you should.
Yeah,
as you should.
Exactly.
Hey, so we're gonna take a quick break. Or there's another poem coming up called
my favorite pastimes.
Favorite Pastime. All right, let's take a listen to it.
Let's go.
Woo.
Go.
This one's called My Favorite Pastimes. I miss my old friends and my family too. But if you told me we wouldn't talk, I didn't think it'd be true. But I knew. Because things were mixing, boiling, and brewing like a stew. Now all these cherished memories are stuck to me, like gum on the soles of my shoe. And I used to run with the whole pack, and now I'm alone, barking and howling at the moon, shedding tears of deep blue, wishing to see brighter shades and hues. And if you asked me, are things gonna go back to normal? Shit, I'd say it's too soon.
Yeah, so so yeah, no, I recently listened to this Invisibilia episode, like a good chunk of it, and the topic, the name of the episode was Friendly Ghosts. I thought it was about to be some Casper nonsense, but really what it was about friends that have ghosted each other. Either they would interview the ghoster, or they would interview the person that got ghosted. One of the people, she had a friend that got pregnant, and she was like, "Oh no, because she personally, kids, this is not my thing."
Right.
She used to work in Disney. She saw the highs and the disgusting, the grimy lows. Okay, to give just a little bit more context, so just go in a little bit more. The situation that she was in while working at Disney, she was one of the characters. She was about to get off, and there was a parent that was right at the end of the line, and this lady was like, "I'm about to go on break." I was like, "I'm not gonna wait in line for super long." And at Disneyland, what they have is they have the character, and then they have a person that's not in Disney, a character suit. Essentially. And they were telling this parent, "Hey, this person's about to go on break. Just wait half an hour, maybe an hour. Yeah, we'll get someone else out here." And the lady wasn't having it, and ended up slapping the attendant across the face. And the attendant looked at this person that they're interviewing, and they're like, "Get out of here! Just go! You're good!" While being physically assaulted.
Damn.
So for this one lady, she's like, "I'm never having kids." So her friend got pregnant, and she was like, "This friendship is going to change. You're going to be putting more time toward it. Blah 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 blah. We can't be friends," and ghosted her. And
Wait, so hold on.
yeah,
She let her know.
no,
Okay.
just left.
Got
Just,
it.
Just.
Okay.
Hey, I'm pregnant. Yeah, hey, I'm so happy for you. Never talk to her again.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and the interviewer was like, "Well, you didn't even decide to have this conversation with her. You didn't decide to," and she was like, "I'm actually even cringing at the idea," and in romantic relationships, obviously, there's not, especially if it's there's been a good amount of time invested into it. Ghosting is a little bit more painful than you should probably have some sort of conversation about that, but in friendships that's not a regular thing.
Yeah, I feel because once you ghost someone, it's there's no closure, and it's just why'd you do this? And it's just I don't know how to tell you later.
Yeah. It's funny. They had another friendship specialist or whatever. Could you imagine I'm gonna specialize in friendship, but they had another guy on there, and they talked about how kind of along the lines of not getting closure. That when someone ghosts you, it's those ideas of what happened, what did I do? Did I do something? Maybe I could have done something differently. What's going on with them? I don't know. You want to chase that. But then there's also situations where it's this shit just happens. Whether it's growth, distance, you're just doing your own thing, and you go another way. Well, I don't know if I said this already. The average length of a friendship is about 7 years, and it's weird to think about how that there's even an average length of friendship, and
Yeah. I mean, I feel like any friendship that's worth respecting would have some sort of communication in terms of if you feel like something's going wrong, or if you feel like something needs to be talked about, then you just like have that conversation. Like, I don't think it's that complicated or difficult for like if you're saying like friends, you know, that to have that conversation as opposed to like getting ghosted or ghosting someone. You know what I'm saying? That you call your friend. I feel like to play onto the relationship thing, it's like I think it's easier to tell your friends like when, you know, you're upset about something. It's like, yeah, it's supposed to be no judgment or nothing. Like y'all are homies, so it's like it should be super easy. But I feel like in the case that someone ghosts, it's on some shit where it's like, obviously, they were never really friends to begin with, right? That's, you know, I don't know. You know, that's how I feel.
Another thing that inspired me about this poem was one of my best friends. He was like a brother to me. He would come over to my house even when I wasn't there just to like visit my family, drop them off food, you know, all this stuff. Then like a certain situation kind of like happened.
Okay.
And it was just like, it wasn't really talked about. And then, you know, I just kind of like, I don't know, I was like the last one to reply, so the ball was in his court, you know what I mean? And then like Christmas comes around and I wish him like, yo, happy birthday, or not happy birthday, like Merry Christmas. Yeah, exactly. Merry Christmas, you know, I hope the family's healthy and all that.
How could you just be born in that?
Come on, bro. Hella extra, bro.
Let me not.
No, we're not gonna go there.
I'm
But
not ready for that.
But what happened was, I greet him, happy fucking Christmas and all this shit, and no reply, nothing, not a single reply. We've been friends since middle school,
about,
like
bro.
7th grade, and
That's cold.
I'm like 25 now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was part of it.
It's like another thing that I thought was kind of cool that the part of the podcast I listened to mentioned was how sometimes even if you're hitting that like average 7-year mark and it's just, you know, life is happening, it doesn't always have to be a friendship breakup, but it can be a friendship transformation. Like, hey, like, I understand that, you know, you're living your life, I'm living mine. We can't be the same kind of friends that we were before. So, like, hey, no worries. Like, I still fuck with you, but, like, I'm not going to prioritize you in my inner circle the way
No, yeah.
I used to.
Yeah, and like that's kind of like what was kind of happening towards the end of our like friendship, because like once I moved out here, I would be at his house like every fucking day, and you know, just like the separation was just like, yo, like we were brothers once, like what the fuck happened? You met new friends, like kind of ignore me. I like make the effort to FaceTime you don't do the same. It's not reciprocated. And then like I was guilty of that too, and I was like, you know what, you're right, and all this stuff.
And it's really crazy. Like once you get to that point when you really put your hand on the pulse and you realize that like I'm putting in a lot, but I'm not getting the same amount that I'm putting in. Now, obviously, you know, you don't like when you're putting in a lot. It doesn't always mean the other person has to give you the same amount of energy, but it's like over a course of time, you can see that, you know, it's like I'm doing a lot of work to keep this boat afloat. And the other person on this boat is kind of just chilling.
I actually struggle with that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes
But on the opposite side of it.
of the like not putting in enough.
I mean, I have like, you know, slight anxiety that I don't give enough fucks about my friends. It's like I love my friends, but it's just like sometimes I'm just like,
here's
damn.
the thing, though.
You know,
like even for people that have that issue, if there's a lot, like if there's like a burning core of like appreciation and love for the, like you know, people will show like how they feel about in like certain ways, you know, and you'll pick up on it, even if it's not the same way that one person might prefer to receive it. Like for certain people, they just express themselves in different ways.
But the perception is the thing,
The only perception that you know is your own, and it's like you can think this is what another person is perceiving, but you will never actually know until you actually talk to them. So it's like when you are a person that is dealing with that, and you are another person that isn't dealing with that, but you have a person that you fuck with, and you'll be able to pick up on when it's like I got you. For sure. Got you. It's and it all comes down to who you how you interact with that person, but you will know when there's a person that you are interacting with that is just like, oh, I don't know if they're really fucking with me. It's not even like I don't know, it's like I have a good feeling that this person isn't fucking with me,
Yeah, another thing that inspired this poem was my family not fucking with each other. And my dad was getting that feeling okay, maybe I did something wrong. And then I just didn't know what was going on, the family drama.
Isn't that crazy when you get older and you
get
put onto the family drama?
Yeah, it's just out of sight, out of mind, and all of a sudden you just start to think there's something there that I'm missing.
It's honestly like if you have been driving a car your entire life and you saw someone pop the hood for the first time. It's that's what's going on there. There's things move. Oh, this shit is loud. Oh my god.
Did you ever feel not to say responsible, because that's the word I was going to use, but did you ever feel like it was your job to fix it?
In a way, I kind of felt like it was, but I knew it wasn't. I felt like I could, I was capable, but I'm kind of only one person. I remember I think it was towards my birthday, and I was kind of going through a lot, and I was I kind of broke down and texted my little family group chat yo, for my birthday it would be so nice to get together again for once, because we haven't all been in the same room in years. I can't even count. And it kind of fucks me up because the next time it could be a funeral, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's the thing that fucks me up the most, because I feel my family holds a lot of pride and resentment, and they're afraid to admit it. And
of course.
And when I wrote this poem, it was actually the day of talking to my aunt about what actually really happened. And
so before you were just getting vibes that there's something.
I was getting vibes. There was, because this was like a ongoing thing. This started years ago, before my brother was born, and he's 6 now. So that's the timeline, 6 years. And they don't really know my brother like that, and it kind of breaks my heart because he's a little version of me, and I used to hear stories of me doing mischievous things and just being being little Tristan, and he's yeah, and it's a little me, but he's his own person,
That's fine.
And yeah, and there's an issue with Christmas, and I was yo, why don't you guys take the time to reach out, spend time, because sometimes we do and it's not reciprocated. And then they told me their side of the story, and I was just sitting there taking it in. I was understanding it, and what I gathered was it's not really gonna be the same after that. Because it takes two to tango, and if one's not willing, there's no dance.
Yeah, that's a fact, dude. That's a fact.
That's true.
Reciprocity is super.
That's a hell of a way to put it, bro.
Yeah, because it's you can only put so much energy into something before you're I'm wasting time.
Yeah, and towards the end of my poem, I changed the last line to like it's too soon to find out or something like that. Like it's been years. It's been years, almost like a full decade, and I still don't know.
Yeah, man. It's like whether in like a family, friendship, or romantic situations, like whether you're the person on the receiving end of, or I guess you're on the other end of not really receiving, and you realize like, yo, I'm hurting myself more by getting involved in this than actually caring about myself a little bit more to get out of it, versus like, man, like, okay, this person is giving a lot to me, why don't I want to give more, like in a way that I can express that like I actually care about them.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, time goes on and it's like, I would love to.
Let alone multiple people.
Yeah, well, you know, yeah, multiple, especially in a family situation.
Yeah, trying to like,
you know, I
get it
can't
all
even
together
imagine.
for everybody.
And it's like, it's tough. It's tough. But it really comes down to like really understanding yourself and your feelings and how you feel about people, and recognizing what is coming your way and like what it is. Like for, you know, you can tell all these rationalizations and lies to yourself to make you feel better about what's going on. But sometimes when you're receiving certain things, that is really not what you need, like at all in your life. It's like, that's money. Thanks for tuning in to Kill the Poet. Thank you, Tristan, for pulling out. You bodied this.
Yes, sir.
Thing, you know. Follow us at Kill the Poet. Follow this guy at Kolok on Instagram. Follow me at Youngsley. You can follow him at Sensitive. And yeah. Kill the Poet, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Wow.
For like at the end of the show where it's like